Alright, so before we start recording, Rune, one last check. Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay, that's good, because I did already start recording. So
I figured as much. I knew it. I figured as much.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy. I brought one of the homies on. Rune's a good friend of mine. He's also another big brain on JJK. Rune, would you like to say hi to all the wonderful folk?
I've been here before. Y'all know I'm the Toji guy, and what are we talking about today? Why are we here today?
Phenomenal question, powerful question. We're talking about Toji, as you guys probably guessed. I don't know if the thumbnail gave it away. I don't know if it was egregious or blatant enough. So with Toji, I've seen a lot of downplay, and for this video, I like to keep behind the scenes stuff for my Patreons, and obviously like for the really close homies and stuff. But just so you guys know, not only did I stop reading Bleach for like 2 days to go through, research Toji, see all his appearances, looking at everything about him, I also got on an alt account, had to step back into the debating shoes for a bit, and just debated people just to see why they think like these horrible things of my man Toji. Why they were just why they were capping on my man. They downplay Toji like really badly. And so a lot of this video is just gonna be us like just destroying some debunks to like his valid scaling, because like Toji has like concrete like good scaling, and the debunks people present are pretty poopy, to be honest with you. So
pretty garbage.
Yeah, they're dog ass water. Now, we can just go through these one at a time. Me and Rune actually talked about this right before this video. We were talking about it in text, so we can just go down the list on this one. So first off,
I'm gonna start with the first one. His failure to kill Megumi. First of all, if you read the chapter, you know it was never his intention to kill Megumi. Let's just get that out the way.
Yep.
That dismisses like a whole slew of debunks. Like bro, yep. He never intended to kill Megumi in the first place. He recognized him as his son. Like, come on now, like.
Yeah, and another big piece of evidence for this, just in case you guys are really wondering, so at no point does he actually seem to be like unaware of like who's around him. So there's two big problems here with this. Number one is that when he goes after Megumi, people say that he's just going after, they point to a certain quote in the manga, and I just read this, so I can tell you verbatim. It says he is baring his fangs to the strongest around because he's a puppet of Carnage or whatever. And this would be consistent if he had attacked Megumi instead of Dagon, right? Because first of all, when he goes after Megumi, Jogo is present, like in the room with them, right? And we know that Jogo is much stronger than Dagon. I won't hear cringe arguments otherwise. So here's the thing. If Megumi's the strongest around, he should be stronger than Jogo, right? Which would mean that he's also stronger than Dagon. So if you follow this line of logic to its natural conclusion, Toji should have just slaughtered Megumi. He should have assassinated Megumi when he showed up. When in Dagon's domain, he should have went after Megumi. Because by this line of logic, he's going after the strongest around, and by the scaling, it's Megumi right there. And he ignores Megumi to attack somebody who's attacking his son. And secondly, like Rune was saying, he recognizes Megumi as his son. He starts to have, flashbacks. He starts to ask Megumi, hey, what's your name? Like, real nonchalant. He kind of did him dirty. He didn't want to tell him he's his dad. He's just like, just so I don't have to pay child support, I'm not going to mention this. And he's just like, oh, yeah, my name's Fushiguro. And he's like, good for you. And he's like, happy about it, bro. And he kills himself. Like, I'm sorry. If he was bloodlusted and wanted to kill Megumi, number one, he would have. That wouldn't have been a fight. Yes. And number two,
yes,
he wouldn't have been having like sentimental like walks down memory lane mid-fight. Like, I'm sorry, that's not bloodlusted activity. That's not bloodlusted behavior.
That example is just like more so just like JJK just throwing statements out, because obviously we see Dagon like 1v4 like. Who was it? Megumi. There was that one.
You had Maki, you had Naobito, you had Nanami. Bro.
And Dagon's just beating them all up. So obviously, the statement isn't in referendum to Megumi. It's just that Toji noticed that Jogo was there. And he was like, shit, this nigga's about to kill my son. Let me remove this nigga from the situation. Let me remove him from the situation. And then handle business. Like, come on now. It's 2 + 2 = 4 at this point.
Yeah, that was literally Big Daddy Fushiguro coming in saying, alright, let me protect my son. Let me beat up the big bad bullies bothering my little Megumi over here. Now, as far as the next debunk, one of the other ones I ran into was Hanami dodged Hollow Purple and Toji didn't. Wow, this is spicy. This is spicy. Okay, so number one, as far as Hollow Purple, number one, it's not the same, right? The distance between the Gojo that fought Toji and the Gojo that shot it at Hanami, like, no, it's way different. Obviously, you have what appears to be much more travel time. And again, this part's in the manga for Toji. So when it gets animated, we'll probably have, like, a much better gauge. But just going off the manga panel versus, like, you know, the anime, the best we can do, not even the best we could do, a 5-year-old could sit there and look at this and tell you that Gojo's way farther away from Hanami. Like, what is this? And then further to this, right? Hanami had, like, ample warning, you know, seeing this giant purple thing.
Prep. And he had information. Yes. That was Gojo's first time using it against Toji. How would he have known?
Bro, Hanami goes in with, like, info on Gojo and is avoiding him for these reasons. And then, like, has better mobility, like, than Toji. Not just, like, for raw speed.
Going in the ground. He can literally just pop the ground like it's nothing.
Exactly. And that's why I want to clarify is that when I say he has better mobility, I'm not saying he's, like, not because he's, like, faster than Toji, because he's not. It's the fact that he can just go underground. Like, Toji couldn't, like, phase into a wall or just phase downwards, you know, 10 or 20 feet to get away from this thing. He just kind of is human, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
he's extraordinarily fast.
Yep.
But he's human.
Exactly. So, the distance, and then Hanami did kind of just have, like, a Deus, what do you call it? Just an ex machina built in to, you know, dodge things like this, right?
For plot convenience.
Pretty much plot convenience, because in my opinion, I still don't think Hanami should have even been able to dodge that, but the whole going underground thing, I get it, fine. I'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's fiction.
It's iffy. If it was the same distance, he definitely was not making it in time. He barely escaped, that's the thing. With that distance, he barely escaped with his life.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Ridiculous. And Hanami was scared to, like, tank one of those too. And like, bro, Toji took that. Toji got hit by it and was alive. Like, let's just talk about that. He was standing.
Don't get me wrong, but yeah, he was alive.
He died after, but, like, not instantly like Hanami was about to. So the next one is Gojo felt... Okay, so this one's just raw cap. So another, like, attempted debunk at, you know, Toji's scaling is that Gojo supposedly felt, quote-unquote, threatened by fighting Jogo, Hanami, Mahito, and Chozo all at the same time. But he no-diffed Toji right after he awakened, right? There's a lot of problems with this. Rune, do you want to jump on it?
I'm going to just give the most simple analogy because, bro, this is... If it's not blatantly obvious to you, even if he felt threatened by 4 people... instead of 1 person, right? Let's just get this out the way. You're going to be more threatened by 4 people who are above average at fighting than 1 person who's really fucking good at fighting. It's simple. He's getting jumped. He's getting jumped.
Bro, I'll take like 4 like skinny twink fighters. Or no, the other way. I would rather fight like 1 UFC fighter instead of like 4 skinny twink fighters. And anybody who's been jumped before knows what I'm talking about. You don't go into that. Like, you'll take the UFC fighter. If you've ever been jumped, you know what I'm talking about. You don't fight 4 people at once.
You just don't see your opponent. You know where he is at all times. You don't have to worry about somebody coming up from behind you. It's a different atmosphere entirely. I believe.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, there's no great evidence to show that Gojo's like really threatened in any way. The closest anyone came was when Hanami and Jogo start using cursed amplification to start nullifying Gojo's neutral limitless. And in this, he doesn't really feel threatened. He just starts, making big baller moves. He's just like, okay, that's how y'all want to do this? Bet. He tricks them, number one. He tricks them into, like, moving a certain way, and the second he catches either of them slipping, Hanami, he one-shots, instantly kills her before she can react, right? And then he just looks back and says, alright, next? And he's like, he is not concerned at all. In fact, they are more concerned. These 4 people are more concerned about dying, both before and during the fight, than Gojo was during this entire exchange, right? And the only thing Gojo really seems to be concerned about at all, any hint of concern or stress for him, is just killing people around him by going off too hard. And that's it. He's not worried about anyone there. Nobody there is pressing this man, right?
Listen.
Now, just so we... What's up?
Listen. Gojo wasn't scared. They literally went into the plan thinking that so one of them was gonna die for a day, like, get pulled off. They were willing to sacrifice. Yep. I don't know what else to say.
Yep. They thought that they were going to lose that fight, but they were just hoping to not lose before, like, Kenjaku showed up. That's pretty much what they were hoping for.
They were like, bro, I'm gonna die, but, like, we could trap him, it'll be all worth it.
Bro,
that's literally, like, their whole mentality.
Bro, they were doing, like, the meme strat of just, like, hold him off until Goku gets here, like, through all of Dragon Ball Z. That's what they tried to do to this man. And you want to tell me Gojo was pressed? Nah, no sell. No sell. Now, another big piece to this. Yes, he pretty much no-diffed Toji when he was awakened. There's a whole bunch of reasons for this happening. One being that he's the god of the verse, number one. And number two, this man, Toji, damn near killed Gojo right before this. And a lot of people who I've seen use this debunk just ignore that. That he beat Gojo. Like, none of these people that Gojo fought beat him. Gojo. No, if they had fought that Gojo that Toji beat, no, that's it. It's a wrap. Not even a question. It would have been done. And I just think it's ridiculous to ignore these things. I think this is a ridiculous argument. Gojo definitely doesn't feel threatened by any of them. He's messing with them. He's, like, tearing them apart. They're stressing. Like, their pants are turning brown mid-fight. Like, it's really bad for them, right?
Gojo was actually concerned, like, physically, like, concerned against Toji in their first fight.
Yeah, that was what this is, like, what irritates me even more. We know what Gojo looks like when he's concerned in a fight. Because we saw it. And you know when we saw it? When Toji fought him! When Toji fought him!
When he fought Toji.
Like, what? Okay, and then, so I think we've destroyed that one enough. Another one. So, again, this one's just ridiculous. Naoya, like, somewhat implicitly compares himself to Toji, right? Somehow making Toji relative to Naoya. This is ridiculous. We know that Naoya was sucking the toe jam off of Toji, like, post-death even. And Naoya, I will say that Toji, like, is in a special place because, like, Naoya is so cocky, and he's, like, talking about, yeah, I'll kill all of you if you challenge me for head of the clan, right? And he's talking to, like, the big bads of the Zenin clan and stuff, and he's just talking out the side of his neck any way he wants, and he's not worried, because he probably could beat them, right? With Toji, he's like, he's on a pedestal, he's on a different level, right?
Man, God.
Yeah, so number one, absolutely not. Naoya doesn't think he's comparable to Toji. Not at all. And number two, even if he did, he's just wrong, right? There is nothing to imply Toji and Naoya are relative, aside from, like, I've even, don't get me wrong, this was bad scaling, and I did it just to be devil's advocate, but I used to say, like, okay, Maki is above Toji, and the fact that, like, Naoya gave her a hard time at all puts him on Toji level. This is actually insanely fallacious. For those of you that have, like, watched my, like, takes on Maki and how to, like, scale her properly, you know this isn't true. Naoya is not relative to Maki. So, And then, Mr. Rune, did you have anything to say on this one?
You basically hit it on the nail. I was gonna talk about the fact that he was actually comparing Maki and Toji. Well, no, it wasn't really a comparison. It was just like Maki reminded him of Toji, but
yeah, and he was like,
that, there's nothing to imply that Naoya's anywhere near Toji level. Yep. Like even through his like grade, Toji's like easily special grade, like casually special grade.
Casually. So, and then further to this, and for those of you that are wondering if that's like, you know, if there's any question about it, if Toji would actually scale to special grades, he negged Dagon, one of the highest. He embarrassed one of the strongest special grades we've seen, but okay. Now here's one that I do think is somewhat valid, right? Another downplay for Toji is that he wouldn't survive against anyone with a domain expansion. And I think there is some truth here. Like, I think the people doing this aren't being dishonest. I think this is actually, like, valid to say, because in a domain expansion, if Toji were to be trapped in it, it's a guaranteed hit. However, comma, apostrophe, question mark, this man is so damn strong, like, most of the... So let's say he got caught in Megumi's domain expansion. We saw what Toji did to Megumi's, like, animals and stuff. So Toji inside of, like, Chimera Garden would probably not be pressed at all. Like, he might get hit by those animals and they probably wouldn't do anything. Those Shikigami, they're just not on his level, right? So there's that. But let's say he's fighting someone like, you know, like someone else, who's a good one? Like Mahito. So, like, let's say that, like, he runs up on Mahito instead of Nanami. They fight each other in, like, the sewer. Or not the sewer, the school when he first opens his domain. Not only is Toji going to get out of that and get out of the range of that domain, he's literally just going to wait until Mahito comes out. And there's no way... He's going to look on that man. Dude, he's going to beat him so bad. And then, like, here's the other thing, too. Is that we know that domain expansion is so tiring that even Gojo can't just spam this, right? Like, I think it's stated that Gojo can't use it more than once a day. And if Gojo can't, Mahito can't. Jogo can't. Sukuna...
Nobody in the verse can.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, like, Sukuna might be the only person, unironically.
We've only seen Sukuna do it once in a day, right? So we don't even know if it's for him, but we do know he's built different, so... maybe. But
it does seem like it's a last resort for him, because, yeah, he just didn't want to use it unless he had to against, I think it was Maharaga, actually.
Yeah, and that was just kind of, that's a whole other thing. I will say, the main problem with saying anyone with a domain expansion will beat Toji is that you have to blitz the absolute crap out of that man. You're gonna have to catch him in the domain expansion, which you're just not gonna do. Right?
It's like two people doing that. It's like two people doing that.
That's one of them sealed. No, the two people that could potentially do it are sealed.
Like, there's two people doing that. There's only two, and neither of those niggas are able to do it. So who's gonna do it?
True, and he beat one of them. That's all I'm saying. No, that one's a hot take. I don't think Toji could beat current Gojo. I will say that.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No. Now, the other one here, another debunk. He can't see curses, so he wouldn't see cursed attacks coming, Shikigami coming, you know, cursed spirits coming. This is all just untrue.
Yeah, he saw Dagon. Rainbow Dragon.
He saw Dagon.
Rainbow Dragon.
He saw Geto's Rainbow Dragon. He can see the cursed spirit that he carries around with him. Okay? He can see Gojo's cursed techniques. Like, bro, am I high? Am I high right now? Like,
that was probably the worst take.
That was I swear to goodness, that was probably the worst, like, attempt at downplaying Toji I heard, because Toji's blatantly seeing and fighting these curses. So the fact that anyone tried to use that, like, is mind-blowing to me. Toji can absolutely see curses. As to why? I don't know, Fugazi dust. Like, they don't really explain it. He just can. Just deal with it. As far as this last one, so he can't defend against any cursed energy output because he has 0 cursed energy. This is also untrue, because Gojo hit him with cursed techniques, which he tanked with that 0 cursed energy. If Gojo's cursed techniques aren't enough to get past his tankiness, I'm sorry. No one else's is.
Let's just not mention the fact that he's the inverted spirit of the heavens. It literally negates blue, red, and Gojo's infinity. Like, what?
Let's not talk about him just turning off curse techniques. Like, goddamn
Or
it.
just not like that's in his special, like in his like arsenal or anything that like shit he just carries around. You know? It's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like he actually carries it specifically to fight.
Not like it's a ranged item that he attaches to like I don't know,
to the other thing that turns off curse technique.
It's so stupid. It doesn't make sense.
Damn it. Bro, and let's not. This is kind of like a weird one, but there has to be something special about his Glock that he just kills Shikigami and cursed spirits with. Remember when he just shot like Meadows Dragon?
Just because.
And it was so dumb because I remember reading it. I was like, a gun? Really, dude? Like,
paid my own headcanon. That is a special grade gun.
It's a special
grade. Special grade gun.
Bro, that shit's scaling is wild. But yeah, and like that's most of the debunks. Now, look, we can get into like the serious scaling somewhat. I mean, realistically, Toji is pretty up there for a few good reasons. He obviously scales above Dagon. Rune, I think. Do you think that's safe to say? Can I say that? Can I say that on TV?
He beats him. He beat the fuck out of him. He beat the living bricks out of him. What? Bro, to say that's not comfortable to say is like saying water isn't water. Like, that's the most. It's so comfortable.
So Toji's pretty crazy on this. So not only did he blitzed that young Gojo, and the problem with this is that young Gojo is like unquantifiably like different in some ways than like current Gojo. As far as like his stats, his like raw like destructive capacity, to the best of our knowledge, it really hasn't changed, right? And the only thing that like Toji was worried about when he fought like Reawakened Gojo after like seeing all of his techniques was Hollow Purple, right? The rest of them weren't a problem for him. Like, so Rune, do you remember when he, like, starts thinking about it? He's like, okay, here's this ability, this ability, this ability. And then he just starts twirling his chain, and he's just like, yeah, this ain't shit. Like, I was...
literally says he can be all of it.
He's all of it. I want all that smoke. Like, so that's one thing, right? And we could just start getting crazy and just start going like, oh yeah, because of how Limitless works, all these abilities are infinite 3D attack potency and Toji stomps. But
we're just...
yeah, we're not gonna do that.